Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our wonderful people on LinkedIn at this moment. Welcome to episode number 10 for our Global S&OP community. May I ask you, as usual, if you can write where are you from and which city so we can jump and say hello to your country. We will give you like 1 minute just to engage with us. Today, we have got a good news for our people who are following us on LinkedIn. We have created a podcast under the name of Global S&OP Community, and it will be distributed along all over the platform, especially iTunes, very soon. So you can listen to our podcast while you're driving, you're walking, running, or even playing, and absorb as much values as you can from our show. And the reason for creating this podcast is that we need to leave a bigger impact on our community. Me and my co-host Ahmed Hamamsy. Hamamsi, I believe that today's topic is one of your passion in life,
Yes,
especially in marketing.
true, true. I like, of course, marketing and sales when we've got good guests today. And hello to everybody. I see some people are joining us. And of course, as I second your voice, it's good that we're joining a podcast. Of course, it will increase the reach and hopefully it will help a lot of people for convenience to listen and car everywhere. Of course, to our the previous shows will be there also. And hopefully people will find value from it, of course. And as we always say, it's knowledge that you won't find in books, but through experience. And we have wonderful guests today. You can introduce them, Ahmed.
Sure, sure. Before we jump into the discussion, let's say hello for our audience right now. We have our friend Panda Sarika from India. Great to see
Hi,
you. Thank you
hi,
so
Panda.
much
How are
for
you?
being here. Our friend Ayman Ahmed from Egypt. Thank
Hi,
you
man.
for being here. Our friend also Manwan Batil from
Telia.
India. Yes,
Thank
great
you
to
for
see you
joining
also.
us.
Thank you so much. We have our friend, lovely friend Abdul Malik Bajmal from Jeddah. Great to see you. Thank you, brother, so much. Our friend also Mohammed El Sharbini from Egypt and Mansoura.
Suro.
Great to see
Thank
you. Thank you so much, brother. We have Tondi. Good evening to you all, my dear
from
friends.
Nigeria.
Yes,
Thank you
great to
for
see you.
joining us.
Lagos, Lagos. Thank
Lagos,
you.
Nigeria. Yes.
Our friend Johnson from
Hi,
Lagos,
Johnson.
Nigeria is saying hello. Also, we have our friend Faris from KSA. Thank you so
Wasim,
much.
thank you, Faris, for
Yes.
joining
Yeah,
us.
great
Lot of
people
great
today.
people. Yeah,
Muhammad,
Muhammad from Iran, thank you for
yes,
joining
thank
us.
you so much. Saeed Zahir, good evening. Thank you so much.
Friends, a lot of friends from Saudi today.
Yes,
Thank you for
I
joining
mean,
us.
yeah. Today, because discussion today, it will be very unique, and I
Yes,
see that it will be very passionate today. So, our friend
thank you,
Mu'taz
Muhammad.
Yassin, thank
Thank you for
you,
joining
brother,
us.
friend. I believe that we can stay for like 2 hours sending
Yeah, a
greetings
lot
for
of beautiful friends. Thank you so much,
yes.
really, for joining us.
Nice topic. Thank you,
Amazing.
brother. Our friend Debian. And we will jump into people and say greetings, and we'll tell you our greetings after. But just for the sake of the time of our episode today, our mission just is to build a global community of supply chain, marketing, trade marketing, sales, and finance where everyone's voice could be heard. That's why we use this platform to listen to you and let you interact with our thought leaders in the industry itself. And this is by sharing and hosting thought leaders in the industry and discussing hot topics and trends that touch business strategies and tactics. And today we have another panel interview with two great leaders in the field, marketing and sales. Our first guest, she was a lecturer in one of the best in university in Saudi Arabia. Her passion of learning and teaching at the same time pulled her to leave a real impact on society and people around her. She is a marketing ambassador. She is a board member of non-profit organization. Not only that, but also she started her career in one of the best multinational companies in FMCG sector as a brand manager. Our second guest, I personally worked with him. He was always named. I named him always like a genius. He is a real genius. His passion of learning and understanding what's around him is really contagious. I consider him, he is like an encyclopedia of information. He started his career also in one of the best multinational companies in the world as a brand assistant manager. Then he decided to leave the company and pursue his passion for learning in USA to have his MBA. His experience in marketing, trade marketing, and sales is unbeatable. Can I ask you, please, to welcome with us our great two leaders today? Mohammed, Noura, great to see you
Thank
Hi,
today.
you.
Mohammed. Hi, Noura.
Thank
Hello,
you.
Ahmed, and hello, Hamamsy. It's nice to see you as always, and thank you for the introduction.
Thank
It's a
you.
pleasure to have
Pleasure.
you.
Our pleasure.
Yeah.
Our pleasure.
We have a great episode today, and I believe that it's one of the struggles that most organizations they have on a daily basis, which is marketing versus sales and the struggles that they have. But before jumping into our topic, may I ask you, if you don't mind, let's start by Muhammad and then Noura. If you can share a little bit about your amazing experience in the field and about yourself.
Okay, I will give you a little background about me. My name is Mohammed Sajini. I started my career before 11 years or 10 years from now as a marketing coordinator, and then I get promoted to be an ABM before I decided to leave Saudi and complete my master degree. And also my master in science and finance in United States. Then I work in different field before I joined back to a multinational company as a business development manager who's handling the planning for the company for different departments. So this is a short knowledge about my career and also my learning in the United States. As I always tell all the people who's planning to travel and learn outside, the learning is not only in the university or the uni or the book. It's about the learning you have outside while you get a different cultural view and new way of thinking with a different business and also cultural things.
Impressive,
So
as usual. And I believe that we will have great values more than this, inshallah, today. Thank you, Muhammad, for the great introduction. Thank you so much.
welcome.
Dr. Noor.
Doctor to be. Doctor to be, Ahmed. Thank you very much for having me here today. It's a pleasure to be among the experts. I started my career in a multinational company in the marketing department. I worked there for 3 years, and then I decided to follow my true passion, and I went into business academia. The main reason I went into business academia was that I found a very big gap when I studied marketing and when I worked in marketing. Working in marketing is a totally different experience. It is much more enjoyable than studying the theories in the classroom. And that's why I felt the call that I have to go to the business academia and start to try to minimize this gap between theory and practice to better prepare the graduates to face the real business world.
Reality.
Yeah, and this is what I try to do. I have been teaching in the leading, alhamdulillah, universities in
MashaAllah.
Jeddah for females. I always try to do throughout my more than 10 years of teaching experience to get the practical side, not the theoretical side of the book. So the book is there. It looks very nice. It's very theoretical. Let's jump into practice and make more something that is more on the ground and that will be useful for me when I graduate and join the workforce.
Yeah,
Great. It's aligned with also with our
slogan.
tagline that knowledge you won't find in books. So interesting, Muhammad and Noura. Thank you so much, of course, for joining us. And yeah,
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
let's start with the struggles, yeah, between marketing and sales. And we are
yes, let me
right.
firstly, I would like to thank Muhammad and Dr. Noura, to be Noura, just in case, because they had the time and they worked on some slides and presentation just to
Yeah,
drive more
that's
values
something
in that.
new
Yes,
in
it's
our
something
show.
just we will take it into that. But before jumping into our presentation, I would like to ask everyone who's listening to us right now and watching us, please engage with us because I believe that we'll have a great values today. What we are going to do, we will just present the presentation, and we'll start to driving the values. And frequently we will jump into your questions. If you have any kind of questions, we'll jump into it and answer your questions on spot. So let's get ready. Let me
We are
know.
ready. And I have one thing only I want to highlight about Miss Noura. I think the added value it will be يعني non-countable, because she's one of the people always help not only the students in the university but also help everyone in the industry to give more and to understand the daily business in terms of strategic and planning, and also in terms of operation. And other than that, one of the few people that will go and have a fellowship in Yale, which is one of the top university, actually I think the top 3 university in the United States. And of course we are
Great.
always proud to have some people like her in our Arab country, and also in our the board.
Amazing.
Thank you.
That's why we need to do this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're waiting for a massive load of values right now. So let me if you can see my screen right now, and Doctor, if you want to start, we are all listening.
Sure. Thank you. So marketing versus sale is the struggle real. We have so many experts with us joining today, and then they have worked in the field of business and they know what this really means. They feel it on their everyday operation in their company, this struggle or this tension that exists between the marketing and sales. We are all in the same company. We should all be working for the same objective or the same end result. Nevertheless, there is always this struggle between both departments, or the tension between both departments. In fact, around 65% of improvement in sales could be achieved if the marketing and the sales are more aligned and better integrated and collaborate better. So we do waste, unfortunately, a lot of time and effort and resources in the companies because we think differently between these two. Why you can tell me that we have so many departments in the company and each department has its own agenda and its own KPIs to be reached. When it comes to marketing and sales, it's very sensitive because putting the line between both and measuring the impact that each department does on sales is the actual struggle when it comes to materializing the impact that they actually do or have in the market. Another way to look at it, the main struggle between them is because they're different people, they think differently, they have a different agenda, and the objective is different. One is short term, the other is long term. One is looking at the bigger picture. The bigger picture, 2-3 years from now, I want my brand equity to look so and so. But the other person right here wants to close a deal before the end of the month. I want to achieve my target. When there is any issue in the company, marketing would blame sales, sales would blame marketing. Blaming them for what? Marketing would blame sales for not closing the deal that they started the lead for. And then sales would blame marketing for wasting the resources, the budget. There is no need for all of these, interesting plans that the marketing people sit behind the desks, analyze, and come up with. We want something. We want to close a deal. We want the money. We want to sell. So this difference in the way both think is the main issue that allows the conflict to arise and the tension to be there. We are here today to simplify the struggle and give our business people in the industry some hints or ways to be able to really capitalize on the benefit of both people. Marketing cannot live without sales, and sales cannot live without marketing. So we will always have both. A very interesting study that once happened in a company, they would ask the same question and then send it to both teams. And then from the results, they would start and they would see the difference. Yani, how would you see the importance of so and so in your company? And they would see that the ranking of the factors is different. So what you look as important in sales, marketing does not look at as important. And this is where the clash happens.
Yes, yes. Totally agree with you, Doctor. I believe that it's a big conflict between sales and marketing. In that point, I love what you said, that because everyone is looking at his view. For marketing is looking for a higher horizon or a longer horizon, but sales is looking into just a shorter horizon, or I would say in the operational level. But marketing should look into strategies and tactics, how they can uh, take their business strategy or category strategy into the right way, and how can they build a realistic plans that will be fulfilled from the sales. This is the big challenge. I believe that we have the first question. If you allow me, we can take the first question from our friend, if you allow us.
Yes, sure.
So our friend is asking questions: certain sectors, especially a 3PL, third party logistics, focus more on business development rather than marketing. What is the difference you can see between business development and marketing?
Mohammed, why don't you take this?
Yeah,
Yes.
You are
Uh,
you answer it.
yeah, I think it's
yeah.
an interesting question, and I will answer by highlighting with one things. Actually, when we say business development or whatever else of function that they support the marketing, it's not part of marketing. Then we are giving wrong answer, because in the end of the day, you are working in one goal, which is usually marketing. And market the company or market the business you have. So if you go and see many companies and also organization and university, you will find that BD or business development is part of the marketing full structure, or part of the pillar that link with
Mm,
marketing. So some departments, and they have two difference between BD and marketing, or brand building, or business building as they called, and some they have it all in one department, and they do the BD and building also job. When you go and look even in the BD area or business development area in United States or any other country, you will find that business development is a very clear way of marketing that help the company usually to have a direct growth. The only different, the BD, they are focused to develop new business, to see what they can to be in the future by adding more value, by having a special team that they are focusing in to develop the business. So I will give you an example, which is a clear example. When you go and you found that BD team in General Motors, which is one of the big company, and I will give an example from my understanding, focusing in electric cars. So this is part of their marketing strategy of what they do. Let's not take one example of one company of cars and see all cars. As you know, United States,
mm,
they just signed a new law regarding the electric cars, and the people usually who handle this, it's the BD team, which is part of marketing. So what I want to say, first, BD, it's part of the marketing team. The second things, why the small business and also 3PL focus on it, because usually when you market B2B business to business approach is different between what you do
B2C.
usually business to consumer, or
Mm,
B2B to C, which is business to consumer. Because in the end of the day, you need someone that they will develop something for the special company that will added value, other than go do some advertisement and marketing communication, and do something special for the company that need the service. So that's why 3PL usually they try to have a BD focus rather than do a full focus, because their major important is to develop and serve the team, rather than only يعني do some marketing through different channel. فأنا my opinion, BD it's part of the full picture of marketing, but the only difference, some companies they have two departments to drive more focus.
Yeah, good answer, of course, Muhammad. I agree with you. Of course, the marketing gives the strategy and gives the way to move, and business development can be as part of marketing, as you said, opening new business channels, going to new markets, and the direction always comes from marketing, the strategy the objectives, the high level objectives. Marketing, it is like the top of the company, like the head of the strategy, the vision, setting all the dreams, and I think that the sales and the business development should be directed by marketing. That's in some companies, that's how it works, instead of going head to head, as Noura was saying. So it's a great answer, Mohammed, and I hope that we answered our guest. It was really very detailed answer, Mohammed. Thank you for joining
Yeah,
us.
Thank you.
only I want to close with one thing. As you see now, the names is changing with the approach and different strategy and the new word. So, for example, if you go and see the CEO, it used to be CEO and VP. Then we started with the having EVP. Then we started with the have is all the C difference. So usually the scope and the life style help to change the names. But in the end of the day, the PD, which is product development, the business development, everyone in reality is marketing. The only different that we give more focus to it. Sometimes we open a special department to drive more agility, more powerful
Yeah.
for these people who's working in this field.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would like even to summarize it a little bit. I believe marketing is more related, focusing into the consumer, just the core focus. And I would say business development could be under it, like trade marketing, somehow at a certain point. So just focusing on the trade. So here is focusing on the consumer, and the other side is focusing on the trade or the retailer. Depends for sure on the route to market, how it looks like for the ecosystem of the organization itself. But nevertheless, I believe that the business development should be there, and also marketing should be there at the same time.
Yeah, a good
Yeah.
example for that, Ahmed, business development usually in the car industry, who do usually the service for the agent or for the dealer in the
Mhm.
country that they serve, and they help them to how develop the business in that country through offering special cars. So for example, if you go to United Arab Emirates and Saudi, you'll find that the people who's buying car now shifting to crossover rather than go and sedan, and the business development team, they work
Mhm.
to have that by providing the capability for the agent and the dealer to focus in that area and develop new area. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of marketing, but focusing in different area other than the final consumer.
Great. Thank you, Muhammad. Thank you, Hamamsy. Thank you, Doctor. So coming back to our core discussion, Doctor, if you want, please
Doctor
carry
to
on.
be.
Yeah,
Doctor to
sure.
be.
So I'm seeing some comments. A person is
Yeah,
asking.
great comments and great answers. We want to take another, let's take another question,
Yeah.
because the
Oh,
audience
Okay.
are very interactive with us as
yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Gentleman was asking, how would you define marketing in one sentence, in one line? I would say marketing is creating value to satisfy a need. That's
Yeah.
for me what marketing is in a
Great.
line.
Yeah.
Another gentleman said that sales is the best way to evaluate your marketing plan and team. What is evaluate? How would you evaluate? What number do you look for to evaluate this?
Yes.
Here,
Yeah, this is
what
very,
metrics do you look at? This is where the
yes. Is it the volume, the value, the profit? Is it the market share?
Is
A
this
it
lot
the
is
of
margin?
things. Yeah.
one of the issues that creates the conflicts between both departments. What are you looking for? How would you define success? What's the number that
Yes.
will tell you that marketing succeeded? We had an amazing plan. We expect the sales to help us, support us in implementing this plan on the ground. But what would be the definition of success? Maybe we make
Yes.
an amazing plan that did not get the
Reach the
result.
targets. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things that actually creates the conflict between both. So the different feedback time frame, different culture, different financial objectives, and different product strategies. These are the main points that we need to look at when we want to understand why we are both different. Alignment between both, or getting us both on the same track, requires a lot of communication and collaboration. What
Yes.
Mohammed will be discussing later on is a solution through integration, an integrated business plan that would help us get or walk on the same path together, hand in hand, to benefit the company overall. But when you want to assess, am I at this integration level or not, you have to see between marketing and sales, are the roles defined in my company, not defined at all, aligned or integrated? So one of those four. If you reach the integrated, this is the optimum that Mohammed will show us how we can reach this optimum level of integration, because this is the ideal scenario where we walk up the strategy together and we walk down the tactics together.
Mhm.
If the roles are not defined or the roles are aligned meaning that we are aware of what the other is doing, we have good communication, but we're not yet in the 100% harmony that we aim to reach. And this is
That's, yeah.
the
Yeah.
ultimate. The integration is the
Yes.
ultimate. It's the best thing to reach.
Yeah.
But when you read, you see that there are a lot of companies suffering.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
The doctor, the challenge I see it comes from the leadership, and let's be honest on that. When it comes that, yes, we have our business strategy and our business plan as a holistic view, but when it comes to break down this by channel and by category, whatever the segmentation that business is looking for, sometimes it doesn't make sense, and it's not, it's just that the target, it's coming top down, doesn't build up in two ways of communication, bottom up. And sometimes I see it even from a real point of view that the business plan is always, people, they're trying to match the business plan to be as their S&OP plan or the integrated business plan that they want. They don't show the gap. And here it comes the big problem in the whole ecosystem of the business. You have some challenges in the supply chain, some challenges in the sales, the accountability when it comes that we will be accountable on driving this accountability in terms of whatever their strategy, market share, whatever it's in terms of profit, whatever it's top line sales, whatever. This is killing the whole objective of the company, because there is no two ways of communication. It's coming top down, and it's not built on a real background or a ground that people that they can rely on and say that yes, these numbers are realistic. Which is, here it comes the big conflict between and the struggles between sales, marketing, and even supply chain.
Yeah, therefore, in the S&OP and the integrated business plan, which we will see now, we explain that it has to be an integration of all the pillars. So
Yes.
marketing, finance, and sales and supply chain, all the input that you mentioned, the numbers, the real ground has to be laid and has to play part of this integration. Or else I wouldn't be integrating. I would be planning in isolation, asking another party to implement. And this is not right. So it
So
has
Yeah.
to
I
be done. Yes, Muhammad.
I think building on the points highlighted by you, Miss Noura, if you want to see all the good example related to any project implemented by marketing without listening to sales, they cannot achieve what they achieve. So when you go and see a successful project, you will find that they understand what the market need, because in the end of the
Mhm.
day, you are talking in strategic way without understanding the real cause happening in the ground. So you need to have an opinion related to the ground level in terms of production and in terms also of sales. So that's why the sales and operation plan include the integrated business plan and the innovation management usually help you to have a clear picture of how we can have one power tools to use to go to the route to market and achieve our challenge by having more sales or growth through new projects. Because in the end of the day, if you keep doing the same thing you do every day, you will never grow. You need to
Yeah.
grow through innovation and different strategy. So you need to come and understand with different function what they need exactly to the consumer and what they need also for the customers before you do the plan. Because if you don't take in consideration all this, you end up have a failed plan and you plan to fail.
Yeah. Exactly. So, doctor, if you want me to move into which slide, if you want to
Yeah,
speak
so
about
this
the
was
S and
some of the examples just to express who says what among both departments. Many of you would read this and know that it is familiar. We can't increase the target, we cannot compete on the price, we need to win, but we have no time. We have an innovation, let's achieve more. Let us launch an innovation. So a 1 million worth of innovation. So this is, each one talks, again, their own language. We want to try to find a common language and not waste the resources.
It's very relatable.
Yeah, I think this is the solution. How can we really achieve this integration? It is not an alignment. It is more than an alignment. It is an integration. Through the S&OP and the integrated business plan, focusing on the 4 pillars, I think Mohammed can give us more insight about this.
Yes, we can only get a highlight of what the 4 pillars usually. The 4 pillars is the different function, which is including the marketing, sales team, supply chain, and finance. When we say 4 pillars, why it's 4 pillars? Because you cannot have a solid plan without having the 4 function working together in one tool to have the best result on that. I will give you an example today. Today, when the pandemic hit last year, if the team they did not work in a one team and have one plan, they will never have the right supply. They will never know how to sell these products. They will never know how to have the right products that fit the area in that time. So without a clear 4 pillars that include the sales, finance, marketing, and supply chain, you cannot succeed.
Yeah.
So I think in next slide we can see Ahmed the 4 pillars. It's the marketing, sales, and supply chain and finance. Now we can see, of course, there is support function, but now we can see what each one do. We can start with the marketing. They do the strategic business plan. Supply chain, they usually do the supply chain plan. Finance, they do the financial business plan. And then sales, they do the current business plan. Ms. Noura, she can give us an example and get more information regarding each function in the next slide. And I'm sure that she will deliver it in the right way with a simple word.
Yes, please.
Okay, so marketing, what does marketing do? What is marketing? What do I want from marketing that will help me complete my S&OP cycle and achieve the integrated business plan that I aim for and I want to reach? From the marketing, I'll go ask them, what's your target? Scenario analysis, the market positioning. This is the input that I need from marketing. Then I will move to supply chain, as you mentioned earlier, Ahmed. I need the inventory, the production plan, demand and supply. I cannot move ignoring any of these elements. I need them all to be laid up on top of each other. Then I will go to the finance. The finance would definitely help me in the budgeting, the plan. What is the plan for each different department? Because I need to monitor the numbers. And then finally, I will also go to the sales to understand from the sales, what are they looking for? Once I have this complete picture, I can then move on and execute and integrate.
Can I ask you a question here, Doctor, in that point? So promotions, when we speak about promotions, from your experience, also from Mohammed's experience in that point, so who should be responsible on giving the right promotions and putting the right activities? Is it marketing or sales or trade marketing? Who should be driving the whole cycle in that point? Is it marketing?
You raised a very
it's a gray area.
Because when I used to work in an FMCG, you know, when we towards the end of the month, Hamamsy, it's a one size fits all, you know. We have promotions. You know, and it ruins everything else that you have to do for the
I'll tell you, of course, I have experience with I second your voice, of course. Towards the end of the month, let's do a quick promotion to liquidate, or let's do the deal with the big chains. They will do a promotion from their side, and we want to be part of their calendar and all that. So it's tactical. Usually, it's a tactical promotion. When you do a big mega promo like it's supposed to come from marketing, like for example, doing something for branding, or doing something to show the strength of your brand, or to keep the brand on top of mind of the consumer. These type of promotions, usually marketing would suggest at the beginning of the year, and when we put the marketing plan for a year or 3 plans, you put promotion as part of the core piece. So you put what you dream about promotions. Then sales come and destroy all your dreams with this last minute promotions, and which kill the brand equity. I know this kind of struggles.
So and I want to comment only on that part. Usually, the right way of promotion should be divided or turned to two parts.
Yes,
First, the part
consumer and
related
trade.
to strategy. Yeah, and other than that, the strategic,
Yes,
usually
good.
promotion that help you to have the right price, the right strategy to compete,
Good.
and the other one usually is tactical. So let's have only a middle ground and keep the tactical one with the usually
Sales.
the sales team, and let's keep the strategic one, which will help us to not يعني turn the products to
Commodities.
promo driven. Yeah, promo driven. يعني will not say commodity, it will be more promo driven products, and also to not turn it to non-competitive versus the competition. So you need to have a tactics, a promo, and you need to have also strategic promo. And the
Yeah,
good example,
exactly. And you don't want to dilute at the end the margin also by over
yes,
promoting your product
your
and brand.
product.
Yes,
And you
great
don't
And
discussion.
hurt the future of your brand. So what's coming next? What's coming next month?
yes,
Might with any shortcut promotion that another party takes, you might hurt what's coming next. So you don't want
Yes,
that to happen as well. And that's why we say the integration between
yes.
all.
so I want to give an example regarding to auto industry. I'm in love today with the auto industry, which is
Are
they
you
have.
buying a new car?
No, I already did before 1 year, but I give them the example because it's an easy example. So I will give you a marketing campaign, usually example, which is strategic, and other one which is tactic. Usually, the marketing campaign, it's come, for example, in Saudi with Ramadan season, which is one of the high season, and the other thing, which is back to school season. So if you see most of the cars when they do back to school event, they focus and the cars that have 7 seats, the economic car. When they go
Yeah,
and do activity in Ramadan, it's more about premium car and how they deliver something for and more relaxed. And the more premium you come, the less promo you do, and you do different kind of marketing. But auto industry is it's a clear example for that. The other things, tactics, which is usually you do before the new model come. If you go and check all the deal, you will find that the marketing team, they work in a plan with the sales in terms of tactic sales by end of the year to liquidate if they have overstock
Exactly, yes.
in cars. The important part is how elastic in terms
Of pricing.
sorry and of a product. Sorry,
No worries at
apologizing
all.
for that. So the more elastic as a product, the more it's a promo driven products, and that's why the team usually they try to make it less elastic. However, seasonality and the condition of the world, its impact, as you now know, we have a big challenge as a world in terms of the microchips and semiconductor. That's why you will find most of the cars double in terms of price in the last 3 months as a result of all changes. So you will rarely see any advertisement related to car. And I debate you, if you go in Saudi and check all the car prices, you will find them even they are double, or even they are not reducing in terms of price, and they give you more marketing that go to consumer service, like for example free service or different things.
Yeah.
let me just, if I can add just one word, because this thing I love it in marketing. It's always about the word of mouth. So all what you said, Mohammed, if one consumer, if one person put a good review about a car, about a product, about whatever in social media, which is very powerful now, and in the platforms, and this he goes and to family, and from family they start to buy, and this kind of rolling. The word of mouth for me is always the most powerful tool in marketing. And I leave it to the doctor here. I don't want to, Dr. Noura, maybe she agrees with me.
Definitely. I do agree with you. Of course, the word of mouth and
Yes.
the social media today is the tool
Yes.
communication and getting the message across. We cannot belittle or the effect of the social media we have today in marketing. It should also be part of the full picture that we are planning, and it should be a part of the strategy that you are working on to deliver your objective towards the end.
Great.
Yeah,
Great,
I
guys.
think we
Yeah,
have
let's take some
great,
questions.
yes, please. People
As
are
you said, it's
engaging.
amazing values, and the engagement
Yeah,
is over the moon today.
yeah. Today, it's amazing. So we have a question from Bashar Umesh, our friend. He's asking, how does the pandemic impact the relationship between sales and marketing to achieve the corporate objectives?
Mohammed?
Yes, I will highlight one thing related to pandemic. Pandemic, it's something different than any year. A pandemic year, it's something different than usually a regular year, and it's not business as usual. So the best way in crisis or any challenge like a pandemic is to not focus in the sales and marketing and focus more to serve our consumer by have
Exactly.
one objective that help the time or period with a lot of challenge. So today, if we go, for example, and give an example related to the airlines industry, the sales and marketing at that time in this airlines industry, they were not focusing more in how we get more sales or how we can market our airlines. They were focusing more in a fundamental, which is how can make the journey of our employee inside the company in that time and to our customers, which is usually Expedia, all the other company, and finally the consumer, which is the most important part, easy and better. So if you go on the time, you will see that the marketing department, they says they take a decision which is cost the company a lot of money, but they did that because it was a year of challenge and they need to take some يعني big hit in terms of making the business sustain to the future. The first thing they did, they decided to cancel all the fees and all the cancellation amount that usually they take uh, for that time. The second thing, they decided to cancel one of the seat or the middle seat between the seats because they think that the safety is first, which is it will impact both sales and marketing. The third thing, they started a new measures of safety and they make a big campaign to let the people trust their steps, because if they don't do that, you will not only lose a couple of seats, you will lose all the plane, because you cannot complete and compete in the industry without let the consumer feel that I'm safe while I'm traveling and take my flight from JFK to Paris or from Paris to any country.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What usually also they do marketing, they will step out and they said, okay, now the focus, it will not be in marketing as usual. It will be different by trying to put our budget to reduce the gap in terms of sales, because today it's not an easy day for us as a airline industry. For usually pandemic, its impact the total company. If you are work as a marketing and sales, you not go to anywhere. You need to work as a one company with one objective. Goals is to reduce the damages will happen in that time.
Yeah.
Great answer, Mohammed. And you touched on a few points that I like to highlight here. Human to human. This is what happened in the pandemic. Human to human emotions. You need to focus on. You need to focus on that. Yes, more emotional benefit to give it to the consumer. You're not looking at to increase sales now. You're looking to trust. Like you said, these are the key words that used really
I connect, yes.
to connect with people. Exactly, Khaled. You got the word from my mouth. Yes, this is right. So this is what happened during the pandemic. People were not looking. Everyone was scared at the beginning. So you had to develop trust and connect with people to make sure that they're still your brand is on top of their mind, and to communicate with people, the message is what's happening, is the airlines open or not, if you're talking about what's happening, like you said, to remove this, to ensure that people are safe, so they
Yes.
I believe
trust your brand.
the
So yes, I totally.
the priorities are different now. Yeah, the
Yes.
priorities are different now with the issue that
Change, the
businesses
priorities
have.
changed. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the marketing, sorry.
Go ahead, Mohammed. Go ahead.
And the marketing team, as a strategic point of view, they need to adapt with the new way of working. So if marketing is still with the old days, that everything business as usual, and they don't want to be lean in terms of taking a hard decision that could impact them in the short term but help them in long term, they will be in a big struggle in the future. A good
Yeah.
example for that, many companies as the airlines, they decided to compensate the traveler through different way, and they get succeed, and even they get a better income this year versus last year, because the people, they trust that a company, they were with me when I was in a need. That's why we should يعني, trust them and travel, even if they're more expensive little bit now.
Yes. Yes. And I would just like to add something over and above what you're saying. It was totally amazing. And if we touch a point on that, I believe that leadership is playing an important role here. And if we come back to pandemic, I believe that when pandemic just attack us, it creates a big panic in the whole organization, not only in sales or marketing, in the whole organization itself. So I believe that the organizations that they keep uh, themselves on the game and they avoid all the struggles and all the suffers that they have, that they come into the point that they separate the problem from their emotions, because once you have a panic, you stop thinking in the right way. You start blaming others, you start to point finger about everything, so you will find justifications and excuses just to get you out that this has not been done because of one, two, three, four. So you came from I would say proactive mood, just you can work proactively and think in how to be flexible and not be rigid in a certain point of time, how you can have alternative strategies based on the circumstances that you have, instead of just pointing finger and doing that. That's why I came back to the same point, which is leadership. How people they deal with uncertainty and volatility around them, because as uncertainty is everywhere. So how you will be able to catch all people, because marketing and sales conflict will be always there, but don't take the conflict to affect the organizational strategy or the organizational objective. That's why I say that leadership bring all the organizations in one table, speak the same language, understand what are the real challenges on the ground, and be honest with yourself. Don't just be optimistic, because I believe that toxic positivity, it could kill the organization from the beginning. When you're too much optimistic, when you're too much optimistic, you will never, it will take you to close the corner. That's why I come back to the same point, which is leadership. This is
If I may add, Ahmed, here, it's with leadership comes the culture of the place, of the organization.
right.
And the
Great.
culture is communication, collaboration, and to enable this connectivity. And you create this environment where there is no place for blame. Because if you don't achieve the target, which happens a lot, they would say, our marketing would say, we had a brilliant campaign, but there was a poor rollout of it. And then the other way goes when the one wants to blame the other. But when the culture of the company is supportive, adaptable, flexible, cooperative,
Yeah.
all one team, we always look at the big picture towards the end. If there is a problem, how can we help? We jump in and help. We don't jump in and go back. What went wrong? You did this and you did that. And as you said, finding excuses and pointing fingers. So I think it's a culture from within the company.
Yeah.
It's leadership, but the culture should come from within the company. And this will be the way we work as different teams in one organization.
And the important part, you should not change your culture or make, for example, a tough decision in challenge time, because usually the challenge time is the way to help you to grow in the future if you manage the challenge on that time. However, if you become nervous and you panic, then I think your company will be in a struggle. So the great leader usually who take the right decision, who usually transfer the challenge to an opportunity and try to find everything possible to grow other than having a blame and make a يعني very challenging place to work as an organization. The important part, the one who's on top of the company or the leadership team, they need to look into it as the benefit of the company, not the benefit of their department, because if they go on the benefit of the department, the company, it will impact big time.
Yeah.
Great. Yes, yes. You have to focus on the goals for the company, not this conflict happens sometimes, the departmental goals. You want to take it towards your department, which there is conflict sometimes between it and or between the organization goals. I totally agree with you. Good point. This is a really good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's wonderful. Just let's move into the next question.
Next,
yes,
and
please.
before the question, I think we can move to the next slide, بس عشان we
Yeah.
give the people the full picture before
Okay.
we can get the next question,
Okay,
if you
sure.
allow us, Ahmed.
For sure. Let me see if you want me to move to the next
Next.
slide. Okay, sure. You can go ahead.
So, Miss Noura, you can explain to the team or also the audience what the marketing more يعني goal ولا objective usually in the S&OP.
Okay, thank you, Mohammed. We said that the integrated business plan and the S&OP is led by the marketing. Marketing is there to grow, deliver the business, take care of the innovation, and of course, achieve the larger purpose of the company. And that's why we say that achieving or completing the integrated business plan should be led by the marketing. The marketing would go and get the input from the different departments because it is in the core essence of the marketing to achieve business, to deliver the business that they are there for. And that's why we said led by marketing. We're just explaining in this slide why we said led by marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually the company who led by finance, of course, depends on the industry. They have some challenge because they don't understand the market need and the market situation. So that's why a marketing usually they
Biased.
lead in the middle to not be a bias and to have different. And they're usually in many companies the owner of the P&L, the profit and loss or the income statement, and they are the one do the projection, of course, with the finance. The finance usually the keeper or the goalkeeper who help you to protect the steps you have as a process and to guide you in terms of financial and budgeting and give you the calculation and the situation based on your marketing plan.
Yeah,
Great.
that's interesting because guys, it depends on the industry, of course, and I am advocate of yes, either it's led by marketing or by supply chain, by demand planning, the IBP and the S&OP cycle. So I'm with you because also I worked in these two departments, so. No,
Yeah.
but really, because these are less biased, as you said, and they look more into either strategy like marketing or midterm goals like demand planning or something you look for 2 years and guard and make sure that all the inputs from all the departments are coming in from finance, from sales, from marketing, from trade marketing, as we said. So, yeah, interesting slides, guys. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Moving to the next slide, which is IPP S&OP cycle.
It's usually starting with the strategic input, then the innovation input. And when I said innovation, it's not only regarding of what we deliver or what we need deliver. It's related to uh, uh, what we usually do in terms of innovation management, which is started from the ideas phase until the last level, which is usually the manufacturing and business delivery wave. So innovation is very important pillar. You cannot grow without innovation. The innovation is the future. Today, for a company like, for example, telecommunication, big company in the United States, without mentioning the names, they started with only the service of the phone. If they did not grow and have the innovation related to 5G, 4G, 3G, they will not be what they are now and they be in a risk, and maybe they lost their business. So that's why sometimes innovation is very important يعني pillar in your future. So
Of
innovation is
course.
not related to short term, it's more related to long term. The third part is related to sales input. You need to listen to the other people. You should
Yeah.
listen to your partner, which is include supply chain, include the sales, include finance, because in the end of the day, they are here to support you. So you need to get the full support from them. The third thing or the fourth thing is related to demand and sales. The demand is the best indication. If you are selling and you have the consumer buy in, you will have the sales. If you don't have the consumer or purchasing level in a high level, you will not have the demand. So the demand is creating by convince the people to buy your product. Then the
Hmm.
supply, of course, the supply it's linked with the demand. If there's no demand, no supply. Finally, income and financial planning. If you do all this without profit, then no idea of doing all of this, because at the end of the day, profit is one of the important pillar. Of course, it's not the only pillars, because it's become integrity, the service of the community, the
100%.
business and
Mm.
country
The
need.
triple bottom line, yeah.
بالضبط. And finally, the business delivery, which is usually the goal we have as a company, because if the business not deliver, they will be in a challenge. I want to highlight one thing related to income and financial planning. Usually, finance team, it's the eye for profitability and the P&L keeper or goalkeeper, because you cannot get a goal without protect yourself from to get ahead. So if your sales is very high but you are not making any profit, there's no idea of what we are doing, because in the end of the day, profit with a pure sales better than only buying
Hmm.
sales without focusing in profitability, because everyone can succeed. Today, if I go and buy a car with 60% of the price without having any differentiation, yes, many people they will come buy you, but maybe it will impact you big time in terms of profitability. So that's why finance usually they are the one who help you to grow the business without impacting the profitability and the income of the business.
Yeah. I think it stopped to be shared. Or
No,
Yeah,
it's
can you
still,
this is
see it?
the last slide.
it's
Yeah,
still
yeah, it's sharing. We see this is the last slide, and I will keep it for Miss
Okay. Yeah.
Noura.
I think. Yeah. And now it's. I think it's the end result for
Yeah, the
sure.
end result, once this is hopefully implemented with the proper coordination among all, we will, as marketing, achieve our purpose, guarantee more growth, have quality innovation, and deliver the business. As a closing note, because I can see the time is up, I just want to say that with no struggle, no success, and communication is key. Communication both internally and externally. So with
Yes.
your consumers, customers outside, and internally with your employees.
Thank you, Doctor. I would like to thank you and Muhammad for this amazing presentation and great values. Really,
You
if you
guys,
allow
yeah.
us, if you have time, we have some of the
Yes,
questions of from the
Sure.
audience. We
Take,
can take it because
let's take one or two questions, yes, before we
yes,
go.
yes,
Yeah.
please. So the first question. We have I think we have too many comments, so guys, please excuse me if I didn't catch one of the
Yeah,
questions
I
because
think if we didn't catch, we can
we
always
can,
go back and answer the
yes,
questions. If you
right,
allow us,
right,
we will come back to you, yes.
for sure. We have a question from our friend Bashar. He's asking, will the marketing and sales professionals face a big challenge if they shift from one business sector like pharmaceutical to another sector like foods and beverages?
I don't know if you allow me to answer or if you want to
Sure,
answer.
Go
Okay.
Uh,
ahead, of course, yeah.
okay, I will tell you something. Usually, of course, moving to a different industry have its own challenge, but in the end of the day, the business itself and the business cycle, the S&OP cycle, it's always almost the same. I will not say the same in terms of process and procedure, but it's always the same in terms of concept. So if you have the business acumen, business knowledge, the strong, go the step and move to an F&B company, because the only different part is related how we deal with the nature of the product. Pharmaceutical, it's more related to need or essential need F&B, it's with different level. The competition in pharmaceutical, it's different or totally different than F&B. F&B, they focus more on how to attract consumer. Pharmaceutical, it's more of giving the best solution for the patient. So it's totally different, yes, in terms of the product cycle, but in the same in terms of process. The only things you need to do is to understand your industry, to start learning new things, and know the difference in terms of the cycle time, or the business time, or the ROI time, because at the end of the day, F&B, maybe it's a faster in terms of sales.
Exactly.
Pharmaceutical company, they invest a lot in terms of research and development, and it's
Well
maybe
done.
take 5 years to get the break-even point. However, government and regulation protect them, and they give them the support by having 5 years pattern and different patterns, which is, yani, usually it's different between industry, but the process, it should be the same. The S&OP, it's the same. We are here talking about business. If you go work in a bank, or if you work in a pharmaceutical company, all of them, they have process and procedure linked with the sales and operation plan.
Yeah.
Even the service, it's considered as a sales at the end of the day, because it's something you trade off by getting even amount of money or different service or need from the other side. If I feel, take the step. If you want to move. Maybe you will not have the same timeline and schedule for planning, but it's the same process, I think.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes.
Cannot add anything to that. Thank you, Mohammed.
Yes, I like what he said, Muhammad, about the S&OP, because again, if we come back to the same, if you remember the beginning, that the biggest conflict is understanding how to cascade your business strategy into a category and a channel strategy. This is the game, which is coming back to the sales and operational planning. It's a closed cycle between the whole departments, understanding the whole cycle, and understanding the voice of the customer and your market. So the more you have understanding and capabilities, understanding your market behavior and consumer behavior, shopper behavior, and even your retail requirements, the more you can create the right strategy that will take you, or tactics, I would say, that will take you to the business strategy that you have. It's all between your hand. It's all, I believe, it's like puzzle. So you can put it here, you can put it there. You have everything in your hand. How you can invest the right trade term the investment in the right channels or in the right category that will allow you to move into the business strategy itself. Thank you, Muhammad. Okay, so we have another question. If you allow me, we'll jump into
Let's
it.
take the
Yes,
final question.
yes. We have we have our friend Nidal Heikel. He's asking, as an expert, guys, what is going on the Gulf area wars? You regarding how companies and organizations can keep a flow of their needed supply.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, yes, this is a little bit supply chain question.
Yes.
Yeah,
If
yeah, of course. What's happening? Of course, it's happening all over the world. Nadal, it's not only in the Gulf area due to the pandemic. You have problem with the procurement of material. You have companies that were shut down for some times, or you have companies that can shut down anytime. So you must work on multiple sourcing. You must work on nearshoring. You must make sure that you work on different distribution center levels that are close to consumers, because you must meet the customer service levels. You don't need to lose customers, because customers will go to competition at the end of the day, and you will lose market share, and you will lose you start losing sales and all that. So yes, it was tough here, I think, for everyone, and there was a struggle to find vessels and to ship your products, and markets. Some markets you have to accept in some industries that some deliveries have gone delayed and all that. And as we've seen, some industries or some brands that were not active online, for example, they lost the whole business. So it was a tough year, but the brands that invested, for example, in their own fleets and like big companies like Amazon or something, and focused on the customer, focused on serving the customer quickly with the right products at the right time, all that, they thrived and they kept the flow supply. They managed to keep the flow supply, although it was a very big challenge this year.
Yeah,
If you allow me
wonderful.
only,
Sure.
I will
Sure,
speak an
please.
example regarding the education, agility and speed, which is part of the marketing usually.
Yes.
يعني goals,
Yes,
it's very
supply chain
important.
also goal this agility and speed. Yes.
Yeah, but I'll give you a clear example. When the
Yeah.
pandemic start, the universities and school who was ready to have an alternative through online and e learning ecosystem was
Yes.
delivering better than the other schools, while the other school who decided to not be that prepared, they get a big hit, especially if they are a private school. So agility, speed, understand the market, the situation, it's the key for success when you have a lot of challenge. You need to be agile. So the best things you can have is to have a plan that impact you today, not impact you after 1 week or 2 weeks, even if you will
Excellent.
work 2 or 3
Yeah,
hours more, because working in pandemics, working in the in emergency situation, I will be focusing in emergency. It's more important than focusing only in
yeah,
working as business as usual. That's why you'll find the company who
Risk,
uh,
risk plans, contingency plans,
know
like you said.
yeah,
yes, how to deal with it and have a lower risk. They succeed, which is many big
yes,
e-com
yes.
company.
If you allow me, I'll add something on that point also. At the end of the day, it's all about your business continuity plan. You want to flow, and you want to ensure that your business is running every day without any challenge across the whole ecosystem in the supply chain. That's why if you see, come back to the supply chain strategies that people they're looking into it right now, which is how they can work in a localization point of view, how they look into their portfolio from their raw materials and packaging materials and their finished good imported, I would say, how they see the importance and how they can cascade their supply strategy, that how can we take this imported the percentage of from our portfolio, and how we can deploy it into a supply chain strategy to localize it. And
Yeah.
here comes the role of the supplier development, how you can find the right sourcing, how can you assess the right sourcing in that point, that sometimes you can compromise a little bit on your margins because you want to make sure that your business is going on, because one time can stop the whole cycle. And if what if there is any challenge in blockage, or a second wave of pandemic happened again and we are relying on some certain countries there because of the regulation here, it will stop the whole cycle and this portfolio will be out of the market. That's why I believe that supply chain strategy, it's one of the most essential thing, that how to localize and focus on how to have investing in your supplier development to make sure that your business continuity plan is along the way. This is what I would say it. Yeah.
I
So
think we'll take Miss Noura opinion. What do you think,
sure.
Miss Noura? How we can have
Yeah,
an alternative solution in
I
pandemic?
just wanted to add one thing, definitely the local. I wanted to add the issue of looking for local options,
Supplier options, yeah.
sourcing local suppliers, and we have seen that the companies that were active in looking for local suppliers and actually were in touch even before the pandemic in options of that sort did much better. We have to look for closer options today and include this as part of
Yeah.
our daily plan.
And maybe
Yes.
develop your local community by help them to have some benefit from the pandemic, because you don't have the same benefit you used to have in terms of logistic and easy logistic in that time, especially with the up to the roof prices for shipping now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Very good point, Mohammed. Yes.
Yes. Again, I would like to thank you. Time flies. as
Yes.
usual, with our thought leaders in S&OP. We would like to thank you for your valuable time. Personally, and I believe also our audience, we had a great time and great values from your presentation. Would like to thank you for giving us this valuable time and giving your effort and your time in that point. So hopefully that we can have another episode. Maybe we can touch a point in some other topics, because really it was enjoyable today. And I would like also to thank our audience today. It was marvelous engagement. And let me ask everyone in our audience who's watching us right now, if you want any specific questions in your mind, please don't hesitate to come and speak to Muhammad or Dr. Noura at any certain point of time on LinkedIn. So I would like to thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. Thank you, Dr. Noura, and thank you, Ahmed, of course, and thank you for all our lovely audience. And yes, as Khaled said, we're open to the questions. We'll try to comment because our time is almost up. So we'll try to get back to you all the questions, and either me, Khaled, Dr. Noura, Mohammed, we'll all get back to you, of course, with your
Yeah.
questions. Thank you so much, everybody.
Before the closing, I want to ask
Yeah.
the audience here, after thank them, what interested topic they want us to discuss later, even with you guys, and with in general other podcasts in terms of marketing. So we want the innovation management. We can ask them to put it in the comments what they prefer to have as a topics, because at the end of the day, I think Ahmed or double Ahmed, they want to understand what the most excited part they want to know
Topics,
about
yes.
marketing or topics. And finally, I want to thank you all, both
Thank you.
hosts,
Thank you.
for the amazing time you give us here, and will help,
Thank you.
inshallah, everyone
Yeah.
who reach us. And we hope that you will be in always a growth momentum today
Thank
Yeah.
and
you.
tomorrow and every day.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much, Muhammad. Thank you, Doctor.
everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Sharing
Dr. Yasser.
for the valuable information that you share with everyone. And thank you,
Thank you.
Muhammad, because he's the reason I'm here today. Thank you.
It's a
Thank you,
pleasure to
Mohammed.
have you both,
Our
Doctor and
pleasure.
Muhammad.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you so much.
you.
Great
Looking forward.
pleasure.
Thank
Thank you.
you.